everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of Thoughts on Education. Today we have Dr. Moses Christopher with us, Principal of Alluri Institute of Management Science. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for taking out time to do this with us. Before I
Thank you so
start,
much.
thank you so much, sir. Before I start with our questions and the round of interview, I would request you to let us give us the opportunity to know you a little more, sir.
Right. Thank you, Miss Rashika. I am, as you have told, I am Dr. Moses Christopher. I am the principal of Alluri Institute of Management Sciences, Warangal, which is in Telangana state. This institution has been started 27 years back, to be precise, in the year 1993. It was one of the first colleges or private colleges under the Kakatiya University, whose jurisdiction extended up to 4 districts, that is Karimnagar, Khammam, Warangal, and Adilabad, 4 districts. So in these 4 districts, at that time, the university has taken a policy decision of introducing management education in the private sector, and they gave permission to 3 colleges, of which we were one. So since then, we have been offering this MBA program. Then after 2 years of the inception of the college, we introduced MCA also. So this college uniquely, it has a unique distinction of offering only postgraduate professional courses. And very soon, we got the approval of the All India Council for Technical Education also. Then the ball was set rolling, like the university having conducted the admissions in the initial years, then let the state government introduce the common entrance test, wherein we used to get admissions from all over the state. As it is the policy of the government, 85% of the seats were reserved for the local candidates, that is the Telangana region at that time, because it was a unified Andhra Pradesh state. Then the remaining 15% students we used to get from the other regions, that is the Andhra as well as Rayalaseema regions. So this is a very brief history. Now, by now, in the early days, the initial intake of the college was confined only to 30 students and 1 section only. But after 3-4 years, they have revised it and they increased the intake to 40 per annum. Then the All India Council for Technical Education had a very clear-cut policy of increasing the technical manpower in the country. Therefore, they permitted the colleges an intake of 60 in 1 section. So with that, in the year 1997, we had an intake of 60. Because of the growing demand for management education in the country, later on, even AICTE was also very liberal in permitting the intake. So we even went for a second section in the college. Later on, we extended it to even 3 and 4 sections. So the college also is an accredited college, which got its accreditation way back in the year 2008, which was given for 3 years. So we enjoyed all facilities and all schemes of the AICTE during those 3 years and developed all the infrastructural facilities in the college for the MBA program.
Thank you so much, sir. I mean, it's really good to know about the college and its brief history. And I mean, like with that, you gave us a lot of information about the different schemes which the government have in the Telangana region. So with this, I would like to know more about you. I mean, like, what are the key factors? Because you've been into this industry or you've been with the institute for quite a long time now. So what exactly motivates you to be connected into the education sector?
To be very frank, when we entered into this management education field, it was actually a very new profession for us, because even management education also is considered to be one of the very young disciplines that was introduced into the country, particularly into the university stream. Then after privatization, we got the opportunity of entering into these institutions, into the teaching field, in fact. Then after a few years of teaching, the college has rightly thought about giving us the leadership responsibilities also. So in that way, whatever new policies that the government was evincing in those days and extending to the educational sector as a whole, and professional education in particular, then we could definitely rise to that occasion, because we were quite novices at that time and we were very fresh. Therefore, we started imbibing those policies, and we also went for the initiatives that the AICTE itself was taking for the improvement of management education in those days, by offering faculty development programs for young faculty who are entering into this field. So in the year 1996, the very first initiative that was taken by the AICTE in one of the very reputed institutes in India, that is a central university at Pondicherry, they had conducted almost a 21-day faculty development program, identifying all these young institutes who had very young management graduates as faculty members, and equipping them with all the teaching skills. For 21 days they identified, and the participants were drawn from all over pan-India, all over India, from various states and various colleges spread out throughout the country. And most of the faculty who have joined were only 3 to 4 years, less than 5 years experienced teachers. In that way, we got an opportunity to learn all the nuances of teaching in management education particularly.
So that's really good to know. I mean, like hearing about the opportunities and about the exposure the institute already has and how it started. It's really good to know. So I would like to understand, you as being the principal for so many years, what are the key mantras, I would say, or what do you think are the leadership style or the philosophy which you follow?
Okay, let me be very clear about this. Students coming into management education, they are quite matured, because they already would have completed their graduation, and now they would be entering into what is actually not an essential qualification but a desirable qualification. Because wherever you see in the job market also, they just want only graduates. Their essential qualification would be graduation. Even for any competitive examination for that matter, they would be prescribing only graduation degree as the qualification. This is something which is going to be extra. So they are coming to an MBA course for that extra things, which we as the faculty have to understand and try to give it to them. So they come here with a lot of expectations. So when they come here with a lot of expectations, we need to be proactive. First of all, knowing what type of a skill set the candidate has already been possessing, and what is that additional thing that he is looking in for when he has opted for a course like MBA. So this is where, if we can rightly understand what is their aspiration, what is the need for which they are coming into this particular course, then definitely we can address the problem in a very meaningful manner.
Yes, sir. I totally agree. And as you rightly mentioned, like this is basically a desirable course. So understanding the need and the importance in the student's perspective, and that is how a faculty or any institute can help a student to achieve their objectives, basically.
Correct.
So I would also like to understand and know, like as you being the principal of Alluri Institute of Management Science, how do you strategize about the key programs and plans for the marketing and administration of your school?
Okay, let me be clear about this. We are actually a college under the university stream. So, more or less, we are guided by the policies that are actually framed by the university and handed over to us, just like instructions. We are supposed to carry out the instructions and we need to follow them very scrupulously. But at the same time, management education is something wherein the curriculum, though it is designed and entirely given by the university, has a lot of flexibility within it. It is inbuilt in its very structure, because management education is something in which, unless a practitioner enters and tells you about where is it actually being applied, then we can never appreciate that program. It will be just like any other degree program. Only it is very essential for us now to step into that particular area where we need to explain to the candidates, this is just an extension of your degree program earlier, which you have already studied in your BCom level or the BBA level or the BBM level. It is only an extension of it. But mind you, your application of this particular knowledge is very, very essential. And this is where you are going to get the added advantage. So your competitiveness only is recognized if you are able to really show where this knowledge can rightly be applied. So in this regard, the institute has taken, see, we have we woke up to that particular call very long back. That is the reason for our success in this particular field. We could understand, unless we have a tie-up with the industry, unless we bring in the experts from the industry, the practitioners, unless they come to the campus and first-hand information passed on from the industry experts to the students here in the academic portals, then we can never really appreciate this program. Therefore, we made the students to understand, and whatever programs that we have designed, in addition to the curriculum that was prescribed to us, calling them as extracurricular or co-curricular activities, this is where ultimately we could establish an USP for ourselves.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, true. So, coming to any of the master's program, it is more about applying the practical knowledge, because as you rightly mentioned, BCom or the graduate level programs, we are already, the students are thorough with the theoretical knowledge, but knowing the application part, understanding how the industry works, taking people from the industry who are already practicing in the industry and giving the exposure to the students, that is something which is basically required in a program like MBA. So I appreciate the institute for taking these steps and helping the student and molding them to be a lot better ready to face the world once they are out into their jobs.
Yeah.
So I would also like to understand, as now, if I say about MBA program, or for that matter any education, the education industry has also become a lot dynamic. I mean, it keeps changing, the demand of the industry, it keeps changing the what is required down the line. I mean, like today, maybe down the line, it may be not of that important because of the technology. It's very rapid and it's very dynamic now. So the education system in India and other foreign countries are structured very differently. But I mean, like the education system is now not only for a country, rather the companies, the investors coming from out, they basically seek people to be, the competition is now with the world, not only with the country. In your experience, what can an inbound student gain from studying here in your institute so that they can be, fully fledged ready to face the world outside?
Yeah. In this regard, I would like to tell you that See, when when a student comes here for the MBA degree, we don't just try to give him whatever is there in this syllabus, but we would also like to impress upon the student that he needs or she needs to improve the additional skill. The skill set that he is going to acquire is what is going to make them competitive in this competitive world. As you said, now the competition is not only confined to the region, but it is at the global level. So it is very important that whatever the dynamics of the global environment they need to understand, and as it is changing, they need to equip themselves according to it. So in our institution, what we have done is we could find the levels of communication of the student. See, not only being able to communicate in the language which is of importance at the present, but if he also acquires the skill of gaining the knowledge in other languages also, like there are some languages like French, Spanish, German, if these languages are also learnt, then definitely the student is going to have more advantages when he enters, because today we could find that the collaborations that we find in the industry, the joint ventures, we have so many global giants which have their presence in the Indian market today. Whether it is the manufacturing sector, whether it is the automobile sector, whether it is the IT sector, you find global giants in India. So sometimes if, let us say, a German company, Volkswagen is there, an automobile sector. If that particular company wants to hire people from a management institute, and if they want to place him overseas, if they want to send them on an overseas project, if the student is possessing German language skills, then definitely they have found the right candidate. So this is where the student should understand where the opportunity lies. So wherever the opportunity is, you must hit the right chord. Then definitely it is going to be very easy for the students. And at the same time, when an institute is proactively arranging for these additional benefit for the student, then the student also should understand that, yes, it is for our benefit or in the interest of the student that this college has come out with an initiative. Therefore, whatever they have done or whatever they are doing is in the interest of the students. Therefore, we need to take it. So even the student also should reciprocate in the same way as the institute feels about the market, because we are in a better position, we are placed in a better position to understand the challenges that are already existing in the market. Therefore, we need to first of all decide for ourselves what is that we need to offer to a student in order to make him more comfortable, at the same time give him as per his expectation and aspiration.
Very true, sir. It's a two-way process. As much the institute is inclined giving the knowledge, the student should also be interested enough or should be of the nature where they are welcoming to the learnings given to them. So yeah, I agree. It's like a two-way process. Sir, I would like to understand, being into the Warangal region, how your institute could be more welcoming to the students of different races or economic backgrounds. So do we have anything in our institute where we are more welcoming to, we are giving more chances to such students?
Definitely, Ms. Rasika. I feel that, this is a 27-year-old college. Way back in its early years also, we could have students coming from different parts of the unified state of Andhra Pradesh, which was extended from Visakhapatnam onto the northeast to the eastern side, Vijayawada, to the south and the Deccan side, the Hyderabad city. And from all over the state, we used to get admission. The students used to come. And I'm talking you about 20 to 25 years back situation, wherein the transportation was not yet developed to that extent what we see today. Even in the communications sector, there were no mobile phones in those days. but still we used to have students coming for education to this particular area where we are located. But today, with all the development that we have, which has happened during these 2.5 decades of time, definitely the transportation facilities have been improved, the communication facilities have been improved. Then today we find the IT parks everywhere, and Warangal is already known as an educational hub because we have the most prestigious institute, that is the National Institute of Technology, Warangal, which is one of the oldest in the country. So we have this, we have a couple of medical colleges, we have the university here, then we have the associated, then the constituent colleges of the university. We also have the Telugu universities bench here, whatnot. So there are all different types of professional courses that are being offered in Warangal. And Warangal is known as that big city after these twin cities of Hyderabad and Secunderabad. And it is just 140 kilometers away from Hyderabad. And today, with all the transportation facilities which have been developed, definitely students should never feel that there is an impediment of reaching there. They have all these facilities, and they have even world-class facilities also. And as per the government's policy also, it is an emerging city, and the government also has recognized that there is a lot of potential for this city to develop industrially also.
That is really good to know, sir. I mean, I've been to the city, and I have evident myself that there is a lot pool of opportunities in the city. I really wish all the best to you, to your institute, and for the upcoming opportunities. So I would also, with your experience, I would also like to understand. With such institute, there are a lot many institute which are new. I mean, like you being such a old into the system, I would like to understand from you, what do you think should be the institute's top priority over the next 10 years?
Okay. Now, coincidentally, yesterday we had been to Hyderabad, that is our capital city, wherein we had the opportunity of interacting with some industry professionals who are actually the HR, into the HR area, where they have come out with an initiative of mentoring the students across the state. And they have identified our institute from this region to act as the lead mentor for the others. The programs that they are going to initiate, they are seeking our support to extend these programs to other colleges also for the benefit of the students. Now, today we can see that the important challenge that we are facing in the educational sector is with the new age students. The challenges that are associated with the new age. Associated with this, unprecedented changes or challenges that are posed because of the pandemic, because of which we had never experienced what an online program was. And today, online program has become a part and parcel of our life. So we have the tremendous capacity and potential of adapting to the changes that are happening. So it was more or less a compulsion that was exercised on us, and we could very easily adapt to it. So today, even from the remote area, students who have taken admission staying in remote areas also, thanks to the internet which has penetrated even into the remotest parts, today there is a facility for the candidate, for a student to log in from wherever he is, even if he is located in a remote part. So that is where we can leverage technology and go to any extent of benefiting out of it. So this is what we feel, and we also would like to develop in this area, and we would like to give more benefit to the student by improvising upon it. And those programs which earlier they were thinking that those which can be given only in a physical classroom setting, we are also trying to see that we are going to extend them online. Like the competitions that earlier used to be conducted only within the campus, like we can have today online quizzes also. We can have an online seminar also. We can have competitions online. So wherein the spirit of participation, the spirit of a student to learn more, it should never be allowed to get sagged. That is where we feel that it has to be, the spirit has to be maintained and it has to be lifted up. So we always would like to think that we need to be more proactive and give the student whatever benefit that is accruing to him, and it is his rightful thing that we need to give to him. So we would definitely give it to him.
Yes, sir. As it happens to be a technological state wherein things which were not normal, I mean, like which people used to find like which is even next to impossible, have become a very new normal now. And it's like you adapting to the changes and moving forward. So if according to the environment you have to adjust yourself, and I believe that not only the students, I mean like the college students, even small kids nowadays who are like just 5-6 years old, they are participating so good. And not only that, for the students like them, I mean like people like us who are very good or very known to the technology, it's easier for them to get change. But for those faculty people who are already into the industry for say 20-30 years, it was I'm like, it's more appreciating for them that they came forward and the education was not disturbed in this pandemic. So I congratulate and appreciate all the the teachers basically who adjusted, because for them it was a major change. For the students,
no, at this point, let me intervene at this point. Yes. I'm sorry to interfere. The All India Council for Technical Education, which is the apex body in this technical education field, they too have come out with so many initiatives during this lockdown period, particularly because we have to appreciate their visionary thought. Like we don't know for how long this situation is going to continue like this. If it continues, then what is going to happen of this academic year? Then what is going to happen of our education system? So they have rightly come out with certain initiatives wherein they started offering these faculty development programs so that the faculty would be at ease when they start using the technology tools. So on how to use this technological tools in a right way, particularly the digital tools, they started offering the training program, and many series of programs were offered by the UGC, the AICTE, and the university concerned. They have assigned this responsibility to the universities concerned to which we are affiliated, this responsibility, and they have rightly come up and they have risen to the occasion to impart this type of training to the teachers so that they are at ease and comfort when they use these tools. This is where we need to really appreciate them.
Yes, sir. True, very true, sir. So moving ahead, I would also like to understand, according to your view, what are some of the biggest challenges you see, both for higher education in general, and also I would like to understand what is the challenges which Alluri Institute of Management Science as specific faces?
To be very frank, whatever challenges in general the education sector is going to face, the same challenges when the Alluri Institute of Management Sciences would be facing, because we are no exception. We are there in that field, and whatever challenges the university is going to face tomorrow, the same challenge we would also be facing. But here, we have always to be very proactive and very positive in our approach, anticipating what is going to happen in the near future. Now, this type of a situation was so unprecedented, but still, it has given us so many lessons. It has taught us so many lessons, very valuable lessons of life, that uh, whatever is going to happen may be happening even without our notice. It is going to happen. Then the situation is going to be very uncertain, and for how long it is going to be there also nobody can really predict. Therefore, we need to be while adopting any type of an approach, the contingency approach is always the best approach. While we already have various approaches at hand, but we do not know really what type of challenge is going to emerge because of the change that is going to happen, and we need to be very, very clear about what type of an approach we are going to adopt when this is the situation. So definitely there won't be any quick fix solutions, but we must always be ready to welcome any type of change that is going to come. We should never really panic, because whatever has happened has happened. For our good, we have to think and we have to proceed in a very positive manner. So definitely the challenges are going to be there, because we are today in a globalized economy from different parts of the world. The education that is being imparted here has to be more relevant. Even if they enter into a global market, they must be in a position to apply this knowledge. So keeping that in view, we also have to give some value addition courses to the students, so that they are really not caught unawares when they enter into a competitive environment.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. Definitely, I totally agree to all the points, and it's like even motivating for me also. I mean, like it's so good to know about your thoughts, and it's really motivating, sir. So, at last, I would also like you to tell. I mean, like if I talk about particularly your institute, I would like people to know what are exactly the major strengths, according to you, of Alluri Institute of Management and Science.
I can definitely say that the strength of the college is always its faculty, I would like to say, because the faculty is actually the thing that many a time we would forget, that the human resources are going to be the most important resource in any organization, whether it is a manufacturing sector, into that sector, or into an education sector. Anywhere, human resources are the most valuable assets of any organization. We need to really try to see that this value is always on the appreciating side. So always try to equip your faculty in the most befitting manner, allowing them to learn the new skills that are in demand at that time. Then let them be ready, let them be proactive to the needs of the students. So faculty could play a very dominant role here, and we give a lot of autonomy for the faculty in this institution. This is more or less the very important strength that we have. And another important one is that we happen to be the pioneer in the private sector in this management education field. That is also an advantage for us. Sometimes we also see it as a challenge, but still we are also very happy that when something is challenging us, it would definitely motivate us more. So, and at the same time, the rapport that we enjoy with the industry, particularly from Hyderabad and other places, because today it is a 27-year-old college. Therefore, definitely 24 to 25 batches of students have passed out from here. And all of them are placed in very, very good companies, and they are in very good positions, and they keep coming to the campus now and then. So this is where we can definitely leverage the advantage of having a well-settled and well-placed alumni, which are spread out throughout the country, and not only the country, throughout the world. Today we are able to get their presence into the college, sometimes physically and sometimes even online.
True, sir. True.
This is where we have the advantage of our alumni. And the another important thing is the management of the college is also very generous. At the same time, they are also visionaries, we can say. They definitely have a very clear picture about the management education, the changes that are happening, and how we need to adapt ourselves with the changes also. They are always positive in their approach. That is also another important advantage we have.
Yes, sir. I totally understand having an institute which is again 27 years old. It requires, a lot of efforts. I congratulate you for for having such a vision and imparting students with such great knowledge and having such a huge alumni based network. It really requires a lot of, and it is a combined effort of the management, faculty, definitely you, and also the students, sir.
Yes.
It was really good to know. It was really good for me to have I had a lot of value addition and to know about the policies of the government as well. I take the opportunity to thank you for taking out the time to do this with us. I wish all the best to the O'Leary Institute of Management Science, and thank you so much again, sir. Have a good
Thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to share some of our thoughts and some of our experiences also in this particular field. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thanks
Ms.
a lot,
Rasika.
sir. Thanks a lot.